Personnel Committee roll call. Ms. Virginia Bell.
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney.
Present.
Ms. Joyce Porter.
Present.
Dr. Kelly Joseph.
Here.
Ms. Miranda Watson.
Here.
All members present.
Okay, first item is to receive the personnel report.
Good evening, board members. On our personnel report that you have already reviewed, we have hired 3 people in various positions, one science, ag, and SPED teachers. We had 1 termination, and we are still advertising for those vacancies that are currently being held by our long-term subs. We have submitted 2 certifications to the State Department for those long-term subs, so they will be coming off their service shortly. Any questions?
Any questions from the committee? No. That's it. Thank you. Okay, that concludes the personnel committee. Okay, Budget Finance Committee is called to order. Roll call.
Ms. Virginia Bell.
Present.
Dr. Byron Hurst.
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney. Dr. Kelly Joseph.
Here.
Ms. Amy Holland.
Here.
All members present.
Okay, first item is to receive and consider for approval recommendation to submit RFP for banking services for school accounts.
Okay, it's in our fiscal agent now in regions, so our school accounts and some of our food service monies are still being put in the First Guaranty Bank because they make daily deposits. But it's come to our attention that the ELC, when they open their account, because it is a new account, they're being charged bank fees. The other accounts are not, we were grandfathered in. So we were wanting to do an RFP to see if we could just go out and see if any other banks were willing to charge less or maybe waive the fee.
Okay, do you have your RFP prepared for,
No, we haven't, but we were just saying,
Okay.
seeing if we could get out of the okay.
you have a list of institutions you're going to send to?
We have several in mind.
Okay. So you just need the board's approval to send those out. Board, committee?
I say.
We have a motion, by Ms. Tony, a second by Mr. Hurst. Any questions? If not, we'll take a vote, Ms. Reed.
Ms. Bell.
Yes.
Dr. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Cheney.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried, refer to the full board.
Okay, receive and consider for approval recommendation to establish professional development accounts for school board members.
Dr. Joseph is asking to budget $1,500 for each board member for any professional development opportunities that may come up during the course of the year. And we're just asking for approval to establish that account.
How much per board?
$1,500.
Okay. Okay, committee,
I move.
I have a motion by Mr. Hurst.
Second.
A second by Ms. Cheney. Any other questions? We'll take a vote, Ms. Reed.
Ms. Bell.
Yes.
Dr. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Cheney.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried, refer to the full board.
Okay, and item 5 is to receive and consider for approval recommendations to add additional service to technology agreement with computer consulting.
Okay, this is for, Sonia might need your help on this. It's for a network attached storage drive and also backup.
Good evening, Board. So what this would provide for us would be off-site storage in the cloud for our servers. A few months back, we got hit with a ransomware virus, and it took about 2 months for all of our files to be restored because they were backed up locally on a server somewhere else, and it was just all of these issues. So what this service would provide would be storage in the cloud, and it would constantly sync with our servers. So we would, even if we were hit with another ransomware virus, we could wipe our servers and restore them immediately with protection, and also it's a stronger antivirus to protect us again, so we don't get hit with something like that, because it really took us down.
Okay, the off-site service, it took a while to get it back from that?
Yes, ma'am, it took us about 2 months to get all of our files restored.
Okay, and you feel
And
the
some people
cloud,
still never got files restored.
and the cloud is safe, do you feel, in your estimation?
Yes.
Safe
it's
and
been-
secure, and it's secure?
Yes, and it'll probably ease up a little bit on our servers, because right now our servers are near capacity to the point that we may be coming back to ask to replace the server and add more storage to what we currently have.
All information will be on the cloud,
Everything that's stored on our servers.
but student information.
No, those are not stored on our servers. Those are through our student information system.
Okay, so this is just an additional, an addendum to that agreement that you already have in place?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do we know what kind of expense that's going to be?
It's $500 a month.
What was the cost of the off-site service?
No, that's how much this is, $500 a month. Right now, we don't have anything. We're just using
Our servers.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Hurst,
I second.
second by Ms. Kane. Any other questions? We'll take a vote. Ms. Bell? Yes. Dr. Hurst?
Yes.
Mr. Cheney? 3-0, motion carried, refer to the full board. Okay, that concludes the budget and finance.
Policy committee call to order. Roll call.
Mr. Alvin Travis,
Here.
Ms. Joyce Porter,
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney, present. Dr. Kelly Joseph, here. All members present.
Item of business is receive and consider for approval changes to board meeting location.
As you all know, committee, we are renovating our central office and our boardroom, and it is projected to be completed within the next couple of weeks, which makes us ready to move into our facility and have our board meeting for next school year or for next calendar year at that site. So I'm asking that we change out the location of our board meetings to the new school board meeting at central office.
Can I get a motion?
I so move.
I second.
Then moved by Ms. Cheney, second by Ms. Porter, that we move back to the regular boardroom. Is there any further discussion? Vote. Vote?
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Ms. Porter,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried, refer to the full board.
That concludes the policy committee.
Building and Ground Committee will come to order. Roll call.
Ms. Linda Cheney, present. Ms. Joyce Porter,
Present.
Ms. Barbara Whitley, present. Dr. Kelly Joseph, here. All members present.
Item 3, receive and consider for approval of revision to facility use agreement. Committee, I have attached, if you look at the proposed new user agreement, there are a couple of changes that we'd like to make. The first is which we would like for groups renting the facility, they must remove all decorations and trash immediately following the close of the event. The second is that the audio-visual equipment use must be exclusive to school board employees. And the third, groups whose rental fee is waived must pay a janitorial service of $35 per hour with a 4-hour minimum. The first is removing all the decorations and trash immediately following the close of the event. We want our facilities to be used by the community. However, we would like for them to leave the facility the way they walked into it. So we're asking that when anyone does come in, that they just clean up trash and any decorations that they have. The audio-visual equipment, we want only school board employees to manage that equipment, because any event it breaks or is damaged, we would at least have someone we can pinpoint to and say, okay, we need to hold somebody responsible for for the equipment. And the last is for the rental fee. There are certain groups that we waive the fees for the use of the facilities. So when there is any kind of cleanup or any kind of other things that need to be done after the group is left, the board is responsible for any costs associated with that. So we want to continue with the waiving of the fee, of the rental fee, but ask that they do pay for the janitorial service. So I'm asking that you all approve those changes in the user agreement.
With the audio video equipment, must be exclusive to board employees. That means a group could use it as long as they got a school board employee here that know how to use it.
We would prefer that, because when we come back after certain groups, or if they have to use this auditorium, we have, all the equipment that we have here is extremely expensive. And so we don't want just, a lot of hands on the equipment. So I prefer that someone that is a board employee, is responsible for the equipment.
I think if we can add in there, if the group would like to use the audio-visual equipment, there should be additional charge, just like we do the janitorial services, for someone to be here on-site to control that equipment. So maybe $25 an hour, minimum of 4 hours, for someone to be here to manage all of that.
Right. So at the bottom, and we could make that clear. At the bottom, it says audio-visual equipment costs will also apply depending on type of equipment. So we could include that language in there as well. So thank you for that.
Oh, is that it right here?
At the bottom of the second.
Additional $25 per hour if computer technician is required.
And those are the only changes.
Can I get a motion? No? I second. Motion by Ms. Porter, second by Ms. Whitley. Any questions? No questions? Vote?
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Ms. Whitley?
Yes.
3-0, motion carried, refer to the full board.
Item 4, discuss new band building and plumbing repairs.
I'll just read the content. Research has found that learning music facilities facilitates learning other subjects, enhance skills that children inevitably use in other areas. We resurrected the marching band back in 2011 so our students can experience many benefits from the program. Mr. Jackson was given the mandate to get a marching 100. We wanted 100 members in our band, and he has taken hold of that mandate, and now we are at around 80 plus members, and that's 80 plus members and counting. And during that time, the band was housed in this auditorium, and it just wasn't conducive for them being in here. So we renovated the old special education building and found that now that space is just too small and it doesn't accommodate a band program. So what we want to do is look at how much it would really cost to build a band room for our band. That would have all of the things necessary to have, band classes in a space. Right now, for example, in the current facility, the acoustics in the room isn't good or of quality for when the band practices or goes over their music. They need to have, like here on the walls, those pads are there to absorb the sound. But there are no pads or anything to absorb the sound in that current facility that they're in, and it's just it's too small of a space. So what we want to do is just go and look at how much would it cost and what would be the process for us to build a new band facility.
new band. And then also looking at the plumbing issues that we have. The amount of money that we are spending every month to fix plumbing leaks and all other kind of issues dealing with the plumbing is very expensive. And so we need to correct the problems. So we want to look at some type of financial package where we will look at the cost of the band room and of the band building, and also look at the cost of repairing the underground plumbing at the school sites, and find out what the total cost of that would be, and if we do have the funding to support that type of initiative. So I'm just asking for approval to begin the research and looking at that, and I will come back to the board with my findings. And if feasible, I would ask that we move forward on those two initiatives at that time.
That's a motion.
What's that?
Okay, motion by Ms. Porter, second by Ms. Whitley. Any questions? No questions? Vote?
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Ms. Whitley?
Yes.
3-0, motion carried, refer to the full board.
This concludes the Building and Ground Committee.
The Education Committee will come to order.
Dr. Byron Hurst?
Present.
Ms. Virginia Bell? Present. Ms. Linda Cheney?
Present.
Dr. Kelvin Joseph?
Here.
Dr. Candace Robertson? Dr. Sonia Fields Gutierrez?
Here.
Dr. Jennifer Briggs?
Present.
Okay, we have one item, review policy on fighting and code of conduct.
I just want to have a discussion with the committee about this policy. We're finding that, and I do have a copy of it attached to your board docs. Just want to make the committee, the board, and the community aware of this fighting and arrest policy. This policy was in place prior to my arrival in St. Helena. And every committee meeting that we've had thus far, they have stated that they wanted to keep this policy within the code of conduct. There is a $50 fee that's assessed to all students who participate in fights. And I want to make it clear that the $50 is not to have the children return to school who were involved in fighting. It's to pay because you did get into a fight. So I needed to make that very clear and let everyone know that that policy is in the code of conduct and was in place prior to my arrival. So I just want to make that clear to everyone and to answer any questions that the committee or board members may have regarding this policy.
I have a question. The $50 that's paid, what is it used for?
$50 is used at the school level, and they use the funds to pay for any PBIS activities that takes place during the school year.
You say the $50 does not prevent the child from returning to school?
It doesn't prevent them from returning to school. It's there because they got into the fight. So some parents are saying, well, I have to pay the fee in order to return to school. No, you're paying the $50 because your child got into a fight. So we want to make that clear for them. This is a policy that no one likes. It wasn't put in place for the student or the parent to like. It was designed to prevent students from participating in fights, and it holds parents accountable. So this is a policy, I know if I were a parent, I would absolutely tell my child, you need to, if a child feels like a situation is about to happen, that you speak to the teacher. You let the teacher be aware of what's going on. You speak to administration. You speak to an adult first before you make the decision to automatically jump into a fight. And so this is designed to prevent those situations from happening at schools. So it's there and has been approved every year since prior to my arrival.
Is this for all the facilities? Not really. All three of the schools?
Yeah, it's a district-wide policy.
What happens if a kid returns and the parent just don't pay it or refuse to pay it?
We haven't, I don't believe the schools have gotten into a situation like that, but what we do is we understand that some people have, financial burdens. And so what the schools have said, well, we will split it out $10 a month for 5 months, or, try to accommodate the parent. But the bottom line is, the policy is there. We are obligated to follow the policy. And the child, quite honestly, do not participate in the fights, then you wouldn't have to worry about the $50 fee.
And it serves as another deterrent, does it not?
It serves as a deterrent for a student when they're thinking about getting into a situation like that, but then also holds a parent accountable for their child participating in the fight. Like I said, it's not a policy that anyone, likes. It's not a policy that's designed for you to particularly care for.
And everybody's aware of that. That's the main thing. We want to make sure that everyone, we're just implementing this, right?
No, this has been in place, but there are, I guess, when a child gets into a fight for the first time and realizes that this policy is there and that we're enforcing the policy, I think maybe they're not aware that it's there. It never applied to them. But we've seen an uptick in fights particularly at the high school. And when parents are met with the fact that they have to pay this fee, then we have, lots of complaints and lots of, questions about it. So I wanted to make it clear for everyone.
I support it. My issue is make sure it's done fairly. I don't want a kid who fought and come back to school thinking putting them on a payment plan or saying they're going to pay the $50 and then end up never paying it. But you had a kid who was in the same fight who paid their $50. So as a parent, I would feel some type of way. Well, I did as a parent what I was supposed to do. My kid fought, I paid $50. But here's this other kid he fought, didn't pay the $50, and his owner plan still didn't pay it. So I foresee that because it happened to us in Parish, and we was only charged $25. And it got to the point where we couldn't hold a kid out of school because they didn't pay it. But at the same time, what you was going to do if they didn't pay it? So that's why I asked that question. Hopefully we don't run into that, but when we do, what's the plan?
So what I would suggest is that we can reconvene with the committee and come up with some procedures on how to address that. I can tell you that in some school systems, the child gets arrested, automatically arrested, and then would have to pay whatever fees that the sheriff's office places on the child for having to, go and pick the child up and hold them until the parent comes in. What this does, it just says you pay the $50 fee. So this is really, compared to other systems, I guess I would call it an easier pill to swallow. Because we could have you pay the fee after you've been arrested and shipped off to the sheriff's office, and then you pay their fee.
And I definitely don't agree with every kid who fight get arrested because then you start that school to prison pipeline. I think parents would be more inclined if they understood what the $50 was going towards. For example, if you say, okay, you got to pay this $50, but this is what it's not just PBIS. We're going to do a conflict resolution class through one day out the week where your kid has to participate, and some of these funds will help pay for the resources or the council that's going to come in and do that conflict resolution. If something comes with the $50 instead of just PBIS activities. So just an idea that we may need to look at. Because we got to teach the behavior. You send them home and charge $50 and they come back. Well, the mentality has not changed. think we need to look at that.
We can make a clear listing of what the funds are gonna be used for. So that parents can be aware, because that is one question that comes up, what you using the money for?
And we can even require the parent to attend with the child, an hour after school, and the counselor that has to stay over an hour, she's compensated with that money.
You need a motion? What is wrong with this? I just.
Oh.
There's no.
There's no action on that,
No action.
but we are gonna look at it further.
I'll bring it back to the board, bring it back to the committee, with those changes.
That concludes education today.
All right, we're moving right along.
Father God, we thank you. Bless your name, for bringing us together again tonight for the school board meeting, 8th day of December, 2016. Lord, thank you for our superintendent, each school board member, individually and collectively. Lord, we thank you for the plans that they're trying to accomplish. Lord, let your blessing be approval, meet their approval, my God. In my name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you and praise your name. Thank you, my Savior. Thank you, Lord. Thank God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The meeting room will come to order. We're now holding a meeting of the Helena Parish School Board. Roll call.
Ms. Joyce Porter,
Present.
Dr. Byron Hurst,
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney,
Present.
Ms. Barbara Whitley, Ms. Virginia Bell, Mr. Alvin Travis.
Here.
All members present.
Item B, approve minutes and agenda. Item 1, committee meeting. Motion by Ms. Porter,
Second.
second by Dr. Hurst. Any questions? No questions? Vote.
Ms. Porter,
Yes.
Dr. Hurst,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Ms. Whitley. Yes. Ms. Bell. Yes. Mr. Travis.
Yes.
6-0, motion carried.
Item 2, regular board meeting.
Motion that we approve.
Motion by Ms. Bell, second by Ms. Porter. Any questions? No questions? Vote.
Ms. Porter,
Yes.
Dr. Hurst,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Ms. Whitley. Yes. Ms. Bell. Yes. Mr. Travis.
Yes.
6-0, motion carried.
Item 3, approve current agenda.
I move we approve the agenda, Madam President.
Motion by Mr. Travis, second by Ms. Porter. Any questions? No questions? Vote.
Ms. Porter,
Yes.
Dr. Hurst,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Ms. Whitley. Yes. Ms. Bell. Yes. Mr. Travis.
Yes.
6-0, motion carried.
Item C, superintendent's report.
Good evening, board. Good evening, community. I just have a few items that I'd like to share with you all. First, we have switched to, and I'll allow Ms. Beatrice to further elaborate on this topic about us moving to board docs. We, in the beginning, were paper-based. Then we switched to iPads where we put all of our paper-based agendas and items on the iPad. And now we have switched from that to a fully automated system called Board Docs. So I'll let Ms. Beatrice share a few things with you about this new program.
Good evening, board and community members. Well, we are now using an automated system called Board Docs to upload our agendas. There is a link on the district website that you as the public can go to, and when you click on the link, it opens it up, and you can, it's called meetings, and it lists you can click on meetings, and any active meeting, prior meeting, or current meeting that's active, you can review it. This eliminates the need for us to send out paper documents to the board. We can make changes, and anytime it immediately makes a change, we can upload documents for the board members. You know, it's actually like my new baby. I'm really enjoying using it. I come in every morning and I click on it, bring it up, and anything that comes up, I can just immediately go and work on it. Anybody who has a document that they want to present to the board and they want the board to review, you can send the document to me, PDF, I'll PDF it, and it's automatically attached to whatever agenda item that it refers to, or if it's just informational, just some information that you want the board to have, we can send to them. In addition, I worked today, I sent a zip file to the contact, and our policy manual will also be uploaded in this program. It's going to take she said it's going to take a little bit of time, because if I let them do it, it's going to cost us $2,500. So I think I'll take the time to do it. But it's going to take a little time, but in a matter of just a few weeks or months, we'll have our policy manual also uploaded onto Board Docs.
So we're very happy and pleased about us moving toward this, and we also get a discounted rate for the service because it is through the Louisiana School Boards Association. So that's a very good thing for us. Also, a change we would like to make in prepping us for our move into our new boardroom. We are having all of our staff members report to you all, not through the superintendent's report as you see here, but it's going to come through committee. So you'll see more of them play a more active role in the board and committee meetings, rather than just me having to explain everything to you all, you know, from just my vantage point. So at this time, I'm going to ask for Dr. Grace, if you have anything you'd like to present, and we'll move forward.
Good evening, board. At the December 5th Accountability Commission meeting that our superintendent serves on, the following items were voted on. The committee voted to postpone a recommendation to Bessie to approve mastery as the new basic for elementary schools. This decision will be made once the commission receives all information regarding the full impact of that decision. The second item is that the board voted to proceed with the recommendation to Bessie to approve the following measures in the accountability system as it relates to student growth. Value-added growth in percentiles, which means schools earn points based on students' growth percentile, where students who perform as expected between 41 and the 60th percentile earn 100 points in the index. Also, growth to mastery. If students meet or exceed their growth to mastery, they would earn 150 points in the index. Growth to mastery with value added. If a student does not meet or exceed his or her growth to mastery target, but exceeds expected growth relative to similar peers, the growth index will award points based on the amount of growth measured in value added. The third item that the committee voted on was to proceed with the recommendation to Bessie to approve the proposed high school measures for accountability, in addition to the good and excellent points for EOC, The changes being the students scoring a 21 on the ACT to earn the full 100 index points, a 90% cohort graduation rate to earn the full 100 index points, and the strength of the diploma index points, including students who have a high school diploma with an associate's degree earning 160 index points, a high school diploma with passing an AP or advanced jump start credential will earn 150 index points. Completing a high school diploma plus passing an AP or dual enrollment course or a basic jump start credential earns 110 index points. The students who have both of those would earn 115 index points for the school. And a four-year graduate or high school diploma through students who have the Law 1 pathway would earn 100 index points. The goal for implementing these changes currently is the 2018-2019 school year that may change as the committee continues to meet and discuss these changes. In terms of assessment, the EOC fall retest window at the high school is December 6th through December 15th, so they'll be wrapping that up next week. We are in the process of submitting the ACT approved accommodations for the upcoming March test for juniors and seniors. That should be completed before February, but our goal is to complete it before January. And also the LEAP 2025 resources that are out are the updated assessment guides for ELA, math, and social studies. Those are currently in use by our teachers and staff. The online tools training, because testing is all online and in the new platform, our students and teachers have been going and accessing that platform and becoming familiar with it so that when testing time comes, that's not a hindrance to their performance. And then lastly, the eDirect LEAP practice test will be available later this month, and we will have our students on there practicing in that platform in late January. And that completes my report.
I'm a little out of order with the listing, but I'll have Mr. Taiwan Self to come up and give his report, his maintenance report.
Good evening, everyone. For our maintenance reports, we have several issues with the roofs at all sites, especially here at the college, Helena County. We really need to look at it very closely. We've been fortunate not to have as much rain, but we're starting to get it now. At the cafeteria, at the shadow, we have roof problems there. Kids are not being supervised in some of the bathrooms. And we have a problem with after-hour activities, meaning which Dr. Jones addressed it earlier for us. They having a banquet or something, leaving stuff open, touching stuff they should not be touching, just overall different things. Phase 1 is complete with Staples with the soap and hand dispensers, where we all have automatic soap and dispensers, so we can see a lot of savings on that. The next phase would be for them to come in and uniform all the chemicals at all the sites to the same thing. So instead of having Lysol or Pledge or Mean Green, whatever you can go buy, it's all going to be uniform at all locations. That's going to be the next phase. I asked Ms. Deborah Butler to come because she had wanted to say some things about some things she had noticed. So if y'all have any questions for me, ask them. If not, I will ask Ms. Deborah.
The issue you addressed earlier about when we lock the campus down is being left open after 5 and we leave, like on different things, like in the gym, in the auditorium, and it's not being secured properly. And I don't want it to fall back on us when things happen. Because when we leave, I make sure the whole campus is locked down, but you can't really make sure it's locked down when you got so much activity being done on campus. The band have to come in here to practice, and the gym everywhere. And it's kind of hard on the janitors to make sure that the campus is secure properly. That's the biggest issue. And the faculty with the kids eating, wasting, you can go in there and sweep, try to keep it clean and go back at the end of the day. It's like you never did anything in there. And so it's kind of hard on us.
Those are the classrooms we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. We go in at every off period and make sure the classroom is swept and kept clean and everything. When you go back, it's like you never did anything to it, and it's kind of hard.
So that part should be reported to the principal. The principal should address the teachers with that part, because that's on the teachers. So that needs to be reported to the principal.
Was that reported to the principal that, did you report to your supervisor?
Yes, I could report to my supervisor.
Which is Mr. Self?
Mr. Zach, yeah.
Yeah, I reported to the principal, but
thank you. And Mr. Steph is very patient because I'm calling him 24/7 about everything, so he's very patient. All right.
It should be done. I just asked Dr. Joseph that question, are the students allowed to eat in the classroom? And they shouldn't be allowed to eat in the classroom. But sneak in, I know how that is too. I'm a teacher, and I know what that's like. If you turn your back to the left, they then look to the right, sticking in their mouth. You know, so it's hard.
It also can create another problem with pests, which we would have to incur another bill for trying to keep pests out of buildings.
Well, are there trash cans in the classrooms where they can?
Yes, there are trash cans in the classroom, and the pest problem is really getting bad, especially in the gym and on the night grade hall. It's getting really bad. So I put
I'll
in
make sure I
work
address
on
those
that.
concerns to Mr. Douglas, and we'll look at a plan to address each one of those particular things.
Deborah, we appreciate you. You know, I know it's hard for an employee to come up and speak on stuff like that, so we appreciate you. Shows you had concern about keeping these facilities clean
That's the whole thing.
forever. So thank you.
Ms. Watson has already presented through the committee, personnel committee.
I just wanted to let them know that we're in the process of still working with companies to try to purchase the software to make the routing easier in the bus assignments. Overall, the creation of the separate bus routes is working. You know, like I said, the North End Parish, they still carry all the students, and we do have a couple of, a few of the buses where we have maybe 2 or 3 students at the other school level on the bus, but that's due to extenuating circumstances. It's not the norm, it's just a couple of those buses. And then we had one bus driver retired, Mrs. Sandy Hall, and one bus driver resigned, Mr. Lord Self, and those routes were already being contracted out because they were on leave. So, but they're officially gone, so we're down to just one expense for those 2 routes.
Ms. Reed, have we ever considered purchasing a bus for the schools to use personally? Like their own bus, like the small trips for baseball or a basketball game or
Yeah, we actually own a bus, and, they have to, it has to be one of the drivers that's listed on our insurance. It's just sometimes that particular driver may not want to do it. So that's why that's when they contract out to get somebody else to do the trip.
So are you referring to like a small size bus to take kids, or are you just talking about just a?
Just a regular school bus, that's where we have a trip with a class or something, it'll be our bus, so we won't have to pay the extra expense to get another bus and then pay the driver. We just have to pay the driver. If it's someone on staff, then probably won't have that much cost at all.
We own one bus and
Lease the sped bus. And we have at times used the sped, I know we've used the sped bus. They had a trip to New Orleans, and we used the sped bus to go because it was just small number of children. We have on occasion used the buses, but again, it's the matter of getting the driver to say, I'll do the trip.
anyone from nutrition and wellness?
Evening, Board. The department is working on a grant for Breakfast in the Classroom. It's a grant that Walmart partnered with the SMA and the NEA Association, as well as the government, to bring breakfast, a grab-and-go breakfast, which that means that when the kids get off, they grab their breakfast, they go to the classroom. This means that there will be no interruptions. The teacher can start their day. The kids don't have to get up and, go back and come back into the classroom. So this is a $3.1 million grant over several states that they're doing it. And their initiative is that kids that eat breakfast, they're more aware, alert. They do better on testing. They're more likely not to have behavior problems. So it's a good grant. I'm trying to increase the participation at all three schools. Right now, the high school is the lowest one for breakfast. They're like 52.1%. Even though it's free, it's hard to get those teenagers in there to eat. So, with this, if the kids is grabbing it, they're eating it as they go, or when they get in the classroom, and, it'll all come together. The Arts and Academy, right now, their scores is 70.1%. We have a lot more young kids that's eating their breakfast, but with this grant, their goal is to raise the level of daily participation to at least 90% in the school. So it's a real good grant. They will buy everything that you need. It's a three-year process. So that's what I'm working on. Any questions?
I would just like to say I'm experiencing that right now. Breakfast on the go is what they call it there.
Really?
Yes.
But with that, everybody have to buy into it because the teachers got to do their part. Everybody got to do their part. Anything that's worth having, we're going to have to do a little bending. So anything that's going to benefit the kids. We all need to keep a positive mindset, and go from there.
Juice on my floor when you're talking about brokenness.
Well, what we're going to do is learn about, what other schools are doing and learn from their mistakes and capitalize on the success of the program. So we can have a perfect program in St. Louis. Anything for finance? You did yours. While she's coming up, I want to remind you that these reports will be done through the committee, but because we have it listed as an item under my report, I want to give each one of them chiefs and my staff the opportunity to present because they did prepare.
Yeah, good evening, board. I want to start by thanking Shada and their staff for allowing us to be out there for 4 months. And it's actually opened our eyes to some issues that have come to us about. And we're going to try to start an awareness campaign with employees. And we've already started attending faculty meetings and new teacher induction meetings and trying to make ourselves more available to the employees, because a lot of employees can't come after work. You know, they can have kids to go and different things, and it gives us an outlet to, update them on certain things that they may need, like insurances, deadlines, or those kind of things that you can put it in memos, but being face-to-face with them, it kind of drives the point home a little better, and it makes us, easier to interact with them. So, last Friday, we issued sales tax checks, and they were comparable to last year, within a couple $100. Tomorrow will be sub-payroll, and also the coaching staff will receive the stipends from this past football season. We completed the annual financial report to the state, and we received our assessment, which was good. The audit is ongoing, and we're on task to have it completed by the December deadline. As Dr. Joseph said, the renovations at the central office are winding down, but we still have to order furniture for the boardroom and a few things for individual offices. We encourage all employees, even board members, one in particular, to go to direct deposit, because we are 77% direct deposit, and it just makes it easier. If we're running close on deadlines, that direct deposit, we don't have to worry about weather, people picking up their checks getting lost, not getting checks on time. So we really want to push to get 100% direct deposit. It's that time of year. As soon as we get through the December 15th payroll, we'll begin to prepare W-2s for the year, and we'll start budget revisions after Christmas.
Hey, when y'all get about 97%,
So you can be the 100%.
Next up is our innovation department, special education.
Good evening, members of the board and community members. Delighted to be here to tell you that in the special education arena, we are serving 172 students under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act and 66 students who are gifted and talented, either with talented art or academically gifted. And that we want you to know that we've made some departmental accomplishments of which we are proud. Special education and the pupil appraisal work together to ensure compliance, state, federal compliance, and in November we are 100% compliant with our IEPs and evaluations. So that's a monthly report that we will run to show how are we keeping up with those two important pieces of compliance within that system. All the school building level committees, or SBLCs, are up and running at every campus, and those chair people, if they're not, we have one new chairperson, but we have two other chairpersons at the other two campuses who are experienced. So we feel like we're building on something that we already had a good foundation for, and that is a plus when we can keep that capacity in place and build on that. Our staff have attended some important events in the last month. The Louisiana Association of Special Education Administrators, or the LASIA conference, where we get updates on everything that has happened since our last quarterly meeting within the legal field about special education and our requirements. We sent a our behavior intervention specialist, who is a new employee to us, to a presentation in Vermilion Parish to learn more about a system that we're looking at, which, like the system that you're using with board docs, automates many of the functions that are required by the SBLC, the 504 committees, and by people who are doing behavior intervention plans. So we are considering proposals for the cost of that, and we'll get that information to you, of course, through Dr. Joseph about how we can move forward to really make a leap in not only in implementing with fidelity, but in doing them cost effectively. We also went to several assistive technology events and are building our capacity in that arena. We've provided professional development for the special ed master teachers and the RTI teachers. Did some work with Dr. Fields Gutierrez at new teacher induction and provided some SBLC training. Doing observations of special education teachers at the Arts and Technology Academy. Students are being served by a full staff with, as Ms. Watson mentioned, we do have some, how do you call those, Ms. Watson? The substitute people that, the long-term subs. But because the full staff is in place and moving and serving kids, we have teachers reporting. A student who only knew how to spell 3 or 4 letter words last year has this week written a 3-paragraph essay about Christmas. We have students with significant disabilities improving their independence and their sense of responsibility. 2 of those are learning job skills in an off-campus program where they are building towards graduating with their diploma under Law 1. We have talented art students building and programming robots. We have gifted and talented students learning monologues from famous plays. We have other teachers reporting meaningful progress to them based on the work that they're doing with kids. For example, I had a teacher tell me today, I have 3 students showing progress in building their vocabulary across the content areas, which is huge to us. And writing, I have two students writing 5-paragraph essays. So for students with significant limits, that is a big piece of progress for those teachers. As I mentioned, we did fill a new position with a behavior interventionist, and she's quite capable. We're very excited to transition her from the classroom where she was before and into this behavior position. And we are looking forward to upcoming, certain things are upcoming. We have a day-long co-teach professional development session planned in January. We have redelivery of the special ed updates received at the events we attended, and we are going to be making the February 1st MFP count.
Thank you.
Questions? Thank you very much.
And I want to remind the board too, this is our, we're making some changes with how we present to you all to make sure that you all are more informed about what's taking place within the district from month to month. So we are going to, as we go through this process, like I said, fine-tune all of our information that we present to you, and specifically to make it aware it's through the committee and it's up for you all to approve or not. So we're going to give you action items. So I'll move on with the last things that I want to share with you. We received, as you all know, we applied for the Wilson Foundation grant, and we were awarded $40,000 for additional technology for the district. In addition to that, as you all are aware, I serve on the Capital Area United Way Community Impact Committee. And through that committee, I was able to apply for a grant for the school system, applied for $30,000, and we will be awarded, it was approved through the committee that we received the $30,000. That will be brought before the board of directors, which I'm also a member of, and we'll be asking them to approved the $30,000. $15,000 of it will be given to all of our employees who are flood victims. As you are aware, we provided them with $800, so we will then provide them with an additional $1,000. And then the other half will be to repair the trailer that's on the site at the football field because it did suffer some damage, and also to fix and repair some drainage and some parking lot areas that were damaged after the flood, or it deteriorated after the flood. So we're happy about the total amount of $7,000 coming into the district by way of grants that we applied for. And that concludes my report.
Do we have the names of those employees that flooded?
Oh, yeah, we do.
I like to know they are, just in case I can see them, say something to them, or if I know any assistance in that area.
Oh, yeah, we have that in stock with us.
Item D, discussion. Public comment for coordinated funding request for St. Helena Early Childhood Community Network.
Good evening, board. This is not something new. We had a public comment last year for our Early Childhood Community Network. Some of the changes that we've had to our network since last school year, as you know, we're no longer partnered with East Feliciana, so it's no longer Chef, the St. Helena East Feliciana network, it's just St. Helena. So the current programs in our network are, of course, the Early Learning Center, the St. Helena Head Start, Early Head Start, and we have 2 new child cares in our network. We have the Dennis Mills Early Learning Center, located in, I believe, the 5th Ward, and the Technical College just got their license approved last week to open up their Early Learning Center, and I believe they'll take 3- and 4-year-olds for students at North Shore Technical Community College. The the coordinated funding request is just to continue on with our early childhood program in terms of pre-K seats. So this won't affect infants, 1s, 2s, and 3s. It's really just a request to maintain our LA4 program at the Arts and Technology Academy's Early Learning Center. It affects other districts differently because they have LA4 seats at child care centers and Head Starts, but we're so small, it's just us. So no changes, nothing new. We're requesting the same seats that we have. We're not requesting any more seats than we already have.
How many students we have in that?
60.
60?
We have 3 full classes.
Is there a waiting list?
We do not have a waiting list. We closed our capacity at 60, and so nobody's tried to get in since. But if we do get anybody, of course, we refer to Head Start, because Head Start is required by federal law to maintain a waiting list. We did have that issue, we had our child care center here in Greensburg, their license was revoked. And so with that, we coordinated with Volunteers for America, who's our resource and referral agency, and the parents were able to contact them and try to find child care that was close to their home. Thank you, Board.
Item E, committee reports.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to read
Motion by Ms. Bell to accept the committee reports collectively, second by Ms. Porter. Any questions? No questions? Vote.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Dr. Hurst?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Ms. Whitley?
Yes.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Travis?
Yes.
6-0, motion carried.
Item F. Next meeting day. Committee meeting, January 12th, 2017 at 5:45 p.m. Regular board meeting, January 12th, 2017 at 6 o'clock p.m. St. Helena Parish School Board Central Office, 354 Sydney Street, Greensburg, Louisiana, 70441. Closing comment, board members? Well, I would like to just start by saying that first I would like to congratulate the St. Helena College and Career Academy football team. I was very, very proud of them. I made all the games this year. I did not miss one. And kudos to Coach Brown and his staff and the athletes of St. Helena College and Career Academy. Any other comments?
I would like to also congratulate the team. One of the best, if not the best defensive efforts I've seen in high school football. They did an excellent job. Unfortunately, we didn't make it. I still think that team that we played last prep shouldn't even been in our division.
Yes,
I
agree.
Don't know how that happened, still trying to figure that out. I visited the boardroom, I just looked at it, and I didn't realize how big that place was and how much unnecessary space it had in it. And it is, from looking at the sheetrock, I can just only imagine what it's going to look like once it finished. It would kind of remind me of the old boardroom where they had where the old boardroom was. It was back in that same spot. And one other thing, I just want to acknowledge Mr. Burkeen. He reached out to me. He said that, he's been a Hawk for life, and he taught here for 25, 30-something years. And he just had a concern he just wanted to bring to the board's attention. Nothing major, didn't want to ruffle no feathers. But, he said the superintendent has started asking people, and the board asked people to come back and support the team. So he put on his Hawk gear and came to several games. And every time he came to a game, people at the gate would ask him, who are you, where are you from? And he kind of felt like, why do they keep asking me? I got on Hawk gear. Why I'm asking this question? It doesn't matter where I'm from. I'm a Hawk tonight. So he just wanted to bring that up to let the employees know, whoever working gates, they walk in with Hawk gear. If they don't walk in with Hawk gear, they're a Hawk that night unless they got on the other team's call. That's right. We got to, even they first game up, they've been to every game. They walk in, they're a Hawk. I mean, come on, yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yes, for those, most of you I know, but for those who don't, I'm Dr. Darwin King. I graduated from the public school system here, spent 34 years in the school system, the last 13 of which I was the principal. My wife worked in the school system. Both of my children graduated from this school. In fact, my daughter, Darlene, was a Hawks cheerleader during the 4 years that she was here at St. Helena. And I knew we had homecoming, and it was a nice parade. Unfortunately, I had to work that day. But all of the old schools were asked to come back, and I was thinking it was a way of saying, if you were ever affiliated with the St. Helena Parish school system in any way, we want you to come home. So I hadn't been really supporting the school system that much in recent years, but I said, well, maybe I'll come home. So every game that I went to, I tried to go to 4 of the games, and I said tried to because the person who was taking up the tickets at the gate each time, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but all 4 times, says, are you a visitor? Now, despite the fact that I have on a cap that says St. Helena football, and I had on a shirt that said St. Helena Hawks, and I had a black and gold pom-poms, and all this good stuff. But to me, that was a way of saying, you're not one of us. We don't want you. You must be a visitor. We want you you need to be on the other side. Because each time they ask, are you a visitor? And the 4th time I was asked that, I felt so humiliated that I didn't even stay for the game. I went on back home. So I know that it's not the intention of the St. Helena Parish school system to exclude people from, I know you want all of your supporters, and I did try to become a supporter. And I bring that to your attention because it could be that other former employees have felt alienated also by being asked that question. And I think maybe it's a question that doesn't need to be asked whenever you pay your money and turn in your ticket. You're at the game. And I was proud to be a Hawks supporter. And thank you for Dr. Hurst. Thank you all for allowing me these few moments.
Come to the basketball game.
All right, any other comments? No comments, that last motion? Motion by Ms. Porter, second by all? All yeas.